The next recipe I'm going to be making is going to be crock-pot ribs. This recipe is pretty easy, it's straightforward, and doesn't require much preparation. First thing we're going to need is our pork spare ribs. And then after that, you just need 3 different types of rubs. I use a sweet and smoky rub, then a Stubbs barbecue rub, and lastly a Stubbs pork rub. You can use whichever ones you prefer. These are just 3 that I like to use. It can be 1. It's just dependent on what you like ribs to taste like. Next is going to be the honey barbecue sauce. And again, this is up to you. Whichever barbecue sauce you prefer is the one that you can put in the crock pot. Next thing you want to do is you're going to take these ribs, going to go ahead and open them up. And then you just want to give them a good rinse off with some cold water. Just make sure you get all that slime and stuff from the packaging off there. Once that's done, I'm going to transfer them over to my butcher block. I'll set them down right here. Make sure you always wash your hands as well. Okay, now that the ribs are washed off and clean, I'm going to go ahead and take the rubs I have, and I'm just going to start applying them to the ribs. I'm just going to put a decent amount on there, and then start coating it in, make sure it gets nice and soaked into that rib meat. It's all dependent again on how many different types of rubs you want to use. I like to use 3, just brings out a little unique flavor in my opinion. But if you want to only use 1, that's perfectly fine. And you're just going to keep rubbing this meat down until it gets a very good thick coating. And you're going to do both sides too, not just one side. You're going to take your ribs and you're just going to put them in here to where it's meat. The meaty side is against the wall of the crock pot. So I'll drop these in, meaty side against the wall of the crock pot. Once I have that done, try to set this up the best I can because you want to make sure your lid's going to go on top of this and close as well. Take the crock pot, turn it on low or high depending on how you want to do it. I sometimes do it high first and then bring it down to low, but if you have enough time, go ahead and put it on low first. It's going to take your barbecue sauce and you're just going to coat it all around these ribs. You want to get as much in between the wall of the crock pot as you can, and then just all down in between the ribs. This way when it cooks, it's just going to absorb that flavor and it's going to stick to the ribs a little better. And once that's done, you're just going to cook it on low for about 8 hours, and it'll be very tender. And then once it's done cooking in the crock pot, you're just going to take it, put a little more barbecue sauce over the ribs, put it in the oven, and you're going to bake it just for a little bit. I would just put it on broil just for a little bit, and that way the ribs will get nice and crispy on top. And that's all there is to it.